Hello, it's Mara, and I'm going to talk about chapters 5 to 16 from Christine, a book written by Stephen King. I'm starting with chapter number 5 called How We Got to Darnell's. Well, after buying the car, Arnie was driving Christine to Darnell's garage, situated on Hampton Street. On the way, they had an issue with the wheels, and they had to stop in front of a house whose owner was an angry man called Ralph. Well, they fixed the wheel and drove until their destiny. Now we pass to the 6th chapter called Outside. At 9 p.m. they left Darnell's garage. Dennis drove Arnie to his house and his parents yelled at him because of his arrival time. The 7th chapter called Bad Dreams. Dennis went to his home to try to rest and he had a nightmare with Christine, saying, "Come on, big guy, let's go for a ride. Let's cruise." Like the first time he touched her. Dennis' parents came to his bed quickly, but Dennis didn't give details of him. Now, in the chapter number 8 called First Changes, Arnie passed his days at Darnell's garage fixing Christine, leaving his friendship with Dennis aside. At that garage, in the 9th chapter called Body Repperton, Arnie was hard in the garage. And in the way back home, Dennis went to eat pizza with Arnie, and there he talked to Dennis about who hit him and why. Arnie talked about a rude teenager called Buddy Repperton who works in Darnell garage. Repperton made fun of Christine and then he hit Arnie really hard. An important announcement in the 10th chapter, the bay passes. Dennis was at the cinema watching a movie with his girlfriend and suddenly he had the idea of renting Mr. LeVay's garage. He went out to the cinema and called his friend Arnie and proposed him the idea of leaving the car at Mr. LeVay's garage. Arnie told him that Mr. LeVay has passed away. Dennis was in shock. Then he went to his house and had the same nightmare with Christine chapters before. Now the 11th chapter, the funeral. At the next day, Dennis and Arnie went to Mr. LeVay's funeral. Arnie talked with George D. LeVay, Mr. LeVay's brother, telling him that he bought Christine a couple of weeks ago and asking him if he could take him rent the garage, but George said no. "My advice to you is to forget the car, sell her. If no one will buy her, well, sell her for parts. If no one will buy her for parts, junk her. Do it quickly and completely. Do it the way you would quit a bad habit. I think you will be happier." Dennis, surprised, asked him why he said that. George invited him to his hotel to talk about it that night. Let's talk in chapter 12 called Some Family History. Dennis went to George's hotel. There George talked about his brother. He was angry. Since he was a little child, he was always angry. He was expelled from school and there he joined the army. He got married with Veronica and they had a girl called Rita. Ronald found his perfect car and named as Christine. There the problem started. Once the family were taking a ride in the car when Rita choked with a piece of meat. They tried to save her, but she died. After Rita's death, Veronica went into a depression. When she went about committing a suicide quite cold-bloodedly, she decided to kill herself, drowning his lungs. After that conversation, Dennis went home. At this chapter is titled Later That Evening. We continue with the chapter number 13. Arnie, so excited, called to Dennis' house and said to Dennis that Repperton is not working anymore at Darnell's garage. Now he could be there without any problem. Dennis' father heard the conversation and then he started to talk about Darnell's economy that was so confidential and maybe illegal. Now, in chapter 14 called Christine and Darnell. The next day, Dennis went to Arnie's house, but Arnie wasn't at home. Arnie's father, called Michael, asked Dennis if he could go to Darnell's garage to see how Arnie is going with the car. Later, Dennis went to the garage and he looked at the windscreen that was broken when Arnie bought the car was smaller. The web of cracks in the windscreen was smaller. How can it be possible? Maybe Dennis was crazy or he doesn't remember it well. Dennis was talking to Darnell that he asked him, where did Arnie get it, the car? And Dennis said that he bought it from a man called Roland Delevay, that now is dead. Darnell, surprised, told him that many years ago Roland worked on that car in the same garage. He asked him if Arnie had knowledge about Mrs. Levay's suicide in the car. Dennis, trying to look surprised, said no. Now, back in the school at chapter 15, called Football Rose. The classes started, and Dennis was practicing so hard for his basketball game. After a long day of practice, he went home and fell asleep. He was dreaming about the game day. He dreamed that he was losing. He was hit and knocked down. He looked up and there was Christine. Arnie was sitting on the roof and he said, "Don't worry, Dennis. We'll take care of everything." In our bully at Darnell's garage, we finished the chapter number 16, Interlace Exit Party. Arnie looked better than before. Dennis realized that once they started again the classes, things were barely normal until the break time. Arnie was going to take his lunch and paced through the smoker zone. He faced Buddy Repperton, the guy who, chapter before, punched him at Darnell's garage. It was an awkward moment. Repperton wanted to start a fight with Arnie. Then a girl screamed louder. Once Dennis heard the scream, ran to that place and found Arnie about to fight with Buddy. He saw that Repperton had a knife. He tried to distract him when Arnie suddenly threw Repperton to the floor. Then Buddy's friends tried to help him and Mr. Casey arrived. A teacher who sent Buddy's friends to his office. Dennis told him that Repperton was threatening Arnie with a knife, and Mr. Casey obligated Repperton to show the weapon. Buddy went home while Arnie and Dennis stayed at school having their classes.